Well, good afternoon. Welcome everyone back to the Royal Commonwealth Pool here in Edinburgh. I'm Paul Noble. I'll be taking you through the action this afternoon as I did this morning, but I'm not on my own this time. I'm with Scott Goldby.
Yes, Paul, fantastic to be here. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to your knowledge for this afternoon, Scott. And you're an Edinburgh uni swimmer, but you're not there anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I was Edinburgh uni swimmer for the last 4 years, decided to hang up the goggles and move into a bit of coaching. So I'm now based up in Aberdeen at the University of Aberdeen Performance Swimming. It's a great experience for me and a really good opportunity. So it's my first national competition coaching, so yeah, here we are.
It's a great facility up in Aberdeen. I mean, I've been to the Sports Village a couple of times. Are you there on a regular basis as well?
Absolutely, yeah. What a wonderful facility it is. 50 metre pool, 25 metre pool, gym facilities, everything you can really ask for. Yeah, we're based there every session, so they're there morning and night and through the day. So yeah, I mean, couldn't really ask for a better base to boost my coaching career into action.
And of course, you've got quite a lot of swimmers this afternoon. I mean, this afternoon is a kind of almost a repeat of what we had this morning, with some events missing. We start with the men's 100 freestyle, the women's 100 freestyle. We had the faster swimmers this morning. We've got the kind of age group swimmers this afternoon, but they can make some finals, can't they? They can force their way into, if they get faster times than the swimmers this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely not unheard of for an afternoon swimmer to be making that evening final. So it's all up for grabs. None of those swimmers this morning are safe, so definitely looking forward to some fast swimming this afternoon and see if anyone can sneak their way into those A, B, or even those youth finals for the 100s, 50s. Yeah, really looking forward to that.
Well, there's certainly a few swimmers going to make it, definitely, with some youth places to actually still to be taken in some of the 50 metre butterfly events. So we know we're still going to see someone else, definitely. Can anyone force their way into these early finals as well? Yeah. Here's the officials coming out, just making their way. As we saw this morning, the officials all masked up. The COVID protocols are in place around the poolside here at the Royal Commonwealth Pool.
Yeah, it's a different look short course meet, winter short course meet this year, so it's great to be back at the Commonwealth Pool, isn't it? Haven't been here since 2019 for a short course in December, so yeah, great to be back and safe protocols all around.
I think that's maybe one of my last times that I commentated on anything live. We've done a few virtual stuff, but it's good to be back in kind of with the live action. Did you guys as a performance club get in fairly quickly after the lockdown?
So yeah, after the lockdown I was still training with Edinburgh, so I was swimming at that point in 2020, and I didn't get in until the second round, so I wasn't in until about October, so there was quite a large time off, but it affects people in different ways. It was obviously a challenging period to manage, but there was definitely a lot of positives you could take out of it. So yeah, and then obviously the second lockdown we're out again, but you kind of learn to deal with those things, and I think it's about resilience, creating resilient athletes, and I think coming out of the pandemic there's a lot of positives. As much as there was negatives, there's definitely a lot of positives to take out of it.
And as we saw for a lot of the major competitions, it worked in some people's favours, it didn't work against others. Some of the older swimmers maybe hanging on for Tokyo or major events, it was maybe a year too far for them, whereas the youngsters suddenly came through and performed really well. Yeah,
definitely. I think the word opportunity is one that I love, because just created so many more opportunities for some people it didn't work for, but distance athletes maybe affected a bit more than the sprint athletes, so we'll see where everyone's at.
Well, we're about to see where these first swimmers are at in this first of 5 heats in the men's 100 freestyle. We're just looking at the times that we saw this morning, and to make that A final, it's a very, very swift 50.43. B final 51.07. So any of these swimmers are going to have big improvements to try and make that final. The youth time, talking about 53. Kind of mid 53s to try and force your way into that, so that might be possible for some of our youth swimmers.
Yeah, definitely 5 heats of this 100 free, so it'd be good to see a few people make those finals.
Well, I'm sure are we going to see any of your swimmers this afternoon?
Yeah,
Scott,
yeah, definitely a few of the University of Aberdeen swimmers swimming this afternoon, and 100 free we've got got a couple of them. We've got Lewis Birrell in the fastest heat. He's probably the oldest swimmer in the field here. He's swam quite fast in his 55 this morning, so I think he's looking forward to that. And we've got Conrad Slesser in heat 2 as well, so yeah, looking forward to this 100 free.
Well, 3 swimmers in that first one. Just recapping what the youth criteria is. It's 17 and under for the boys, 16 and under for the girls. Qualify for the youth final. Remember, send your messages in to myself and Scott on social media. Hashtag SSWinterMeet21 is the hashtag that we're going to be using. Scott, I'm sure, will be all over social media with your messages.
Yeah, we'll try and keep everyone
that's your job this afternoon, you know. Did nobody tell you?
wasn't prepared for that. I'm actually having a few technical difficulties with my phone. So.
Oh, that's what they all say.
All the guys in Aberdeen will be laughing at me because they know how useless my phone is.
There's a problem with the start system apparently, so not a good start to this afternoon session. But as a swimmer, did things like that? Do you come to expect these delays?
Yeah, I think you've just got to be flexible with your approach to racing, and just be prepared for things like this to happen. It obviously happens quite regularly, unfortunately, but it's just the way the sport works. And sometimes there's going to be technical delays. Sometimes there'll be delays for other reasons, but you've just got to be prepared for that. Prepared for that flexibility. You can't be too rigid in your pre-race routine because you've got to be prepared for things to go wrong. You're never going to have a perfect preparation. So I think most of these athletes will be prepared for things like this. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of experience out there, definitely, with some of these athletes.
And even if they're not, it's a learning opportunity. If something happens like this and they've not experienced it before, it's a good experience for them to have that in their toolbox for the next time. If that happens again, they'll be more prepared. And I think that's what racing's all about. Racing's all about learning for me. It's the best form of training in my opinion, and you got to learn from every race. If you don't learn from your race, and I don't think you're doing it right. But sometimes you need someone to help you learn from it. But that's my opinion. I think you should be learning from all your races, and that learning might come from mishaps like delays, like we're seeing right now.
Yeah, you can do all the training that you want, and that is necessary to get yourself into condition, but there's nothing really to match the race conditions, is there?
No, I think especially the lack of competitions we've had just through the pandemic, I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to be here racing at the Commonwealth pool. Racing opportunities don't come by too often these days, unfortunately, with the pandemic and other restrictions that are in place. So I think you just got to make the most of every opportunity you get.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the results from the last couple of years, and just to try and figure out exactly what events went on, just to remind myself. I feel kind of out of touch that I haven't really been commentating on these national events for a couple of years, and I thought, wonder what did actually take place. And there was very, very little last year, maybe a couple around just about this time of year possibly. There was a couple of meets, then after that it was all kind of summertime in 2021, so really it was almost exactly a year that was complete year that was lost with no competitions at all.
Yeah, I think I was speaking to some of the Edinburgh coaches earlier on that I used to train with, and we were just chatting about how a year ago today we actually ran some internal time trials. So it wasn't an official competition, it was just internal time trials with obviously strict COVID regulations, and then we went into the second lockdown, so it was stop and start. So definitely great to have these competitions back up and running.
Just while we're waiting, just to remind people
and of course Edinburgh have been hugely successful in recent years. They've really built up the programme, as have Stirling. And of course, the secrets of Edinburgh now. Is this going to be what you're translating to Aberdeen now? We're going to see Aberdeen as another powerhouse coming through, challenge the big two?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've said it a lot, opportunity, but there's a massive opportunity in Aberdeen. The facilities we've got, the coaches we've got up there, Patrick Miley, Gregor and Lisa. It's a fantastic setup all the way from development age all the way up to the high performance group and university swimmers, and the university itself is, it's a fantastic university. It's a beautiful campus. So I think sometimes people are scared to venture up north, but I think over coming years I think you'll start seeing a few more swimmers popping out of Aberdeen, definitely.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. I'll keep an eye on these three as well. Conor Mitchell, Noah Quinnell, Luke Porteous. gets us underway for 100 freestyle, first event of this afternoon. 5 heats. This is the very first one. The entry times for these, well, the fastest is Noah Quinnell from Shetland. He goes in the centre of those three, 56.78, Scott.
Yeah, it's great to start with the 100 free. Nice fast action. So looking at these guys coming out, the 100 free for me is trying to get out fast but not too hard. I always say you can't go out too fast, but you can certainly go out too hard. So just trying to find that balance between those 250s here. So it's a good start from Luke here in lane 5.
Yeah, Luke Porteous. We've got two 17-year-olds here. Luke Porteous was leading them through in lane number 5. Noah Quinnell in the centre lane as well. And Conor Mitchell going well, the 14-year-old, coming back on the more experienced swimmer in the centre.
Yeah, absolutely. Junior swimmer really showing up here. So see what these guys coming at. Looks like he's going to be under his entry time here, 55.73. That's a great start to the session.
Yeah, brilliant time. 1.5 seconds ahead there, Luke Porteous. So he'll be pleased with that one, the Slovenian swimmer. And it was very tight for second. 3/100ths of a second. Look at that. But no Quinnell.
Yeah, I'm sure his coach will be looking back over that one, see those finer details, maybe breathed into the finish. So yeah, fantastic racing to start the session.
Yeah, nice swim from the young swimmer as well, 14-year-old Conor Mitchell, 57.84. So that's improved his time by 1.5 seconds as well. So well done, guys. A nice start to the session this afternoon.
Yeah, I've got Dean Fern here in lane 5. He's recently broke a couple of Scottish age group records for the 13-year-olds up in the North District, 53 and 54. So he's been on pretty fine form recently. So we'll see where he's at here in the 100 free.
I think he was inside one this morning as well, Dean Fern, for the 13.
I think you're right, yes.
Conrad Schlesser goes in lane number 2. In fact, there's no swimmer in lane number 2. So Brodie Gordon-Gibson in 3, Callum Sinclair in 4, Dean Fern in 5, Dylan Cashmore in 6, and Ewan Beattie in lane number 7. So just 6 swimmers here taking the start.
Yeah, I know Conrad in lane 2, so just 6 swimmers here. I think Dean Fern's taking this out pretty strongly in the middle.
13 years of age, Dean Fern, Callum Sinclair alongside him in lane number 4, and those 2 yellow lane markers there in the centre, and the youngster, the 13-year-old, holding off the challenge from these more experienced swimmers here.
Yeah, absolutely, he's really giving it to them. So yeah, great to see Dean turn it on here, see what he's got the last 25.
So coming in now, being challenged by Brodie Gordon-Gibson from Warrender. Just a couple of lanes up. I wonder what Dean Fern's going to do now. Just keep an eye on the clock as they come in. It was a close finish, but it was Dean Fern, 54.30. Well done, Dean Fern, the 13-year-old, going really well.
Absolutely, I think most of those boys there were under the entry times. That's fantastic race there. 54.30, entered on 55.65, so over a second drop there. That's quite a good improvement there from Dean. He's definitely on form.
Yeah, colleagues Duncan and Tony, we were doing the in-house commentary there, keeping an eye on the record, so they'll give us a nudge.
Yeah, I think I wrote that down 52.68, so it's a pretty swift record, that one.
Swift.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good pedigree of 100 freestylers over the years, so I guess we're looking for the next crop of youngsters to pop through, so it might be some of these guys swimming this afternoon.
Well, the next heat is Max Pelosi in lane number 1, right at the top of your picture there. Finlay Nelson in 2, Cameron Creaney in 3, Joe Carter in 4, Evan Crawford in 5, Ben Kelly in 6, Murray Dixon in 7, and Zach Slater in lane number 8. Pretty tight start there. Cameron Creaney maybe first of all, Commonwealth swimmer on that yellow cap.
Yeah, good start. This is fast and furious, this racing action here in the first 50 of this 100 free. Different tactics here in the 100 free. Some people like to take it out a bit faster, they'll be more sprint orientated. Then you've got the more aerobically inclined swimmers that you probably see come through on that second 50.
Well, Cameron Creaney coming through, looks like he's breathing to one side. He's got one very straight arm there, left arm very straight, breathing to one side in the yellow cap there. Looks like he's going to take this one home.
Yeah, he's coming here pretty strong into the finish. See what his skills like at the finish. He can get his head down that last 5 metres.
He comes into the finish, stretching for that one. Yeah, 53.90. Another good swim. Seen some good times already in these first 3 heats. Swimmers coming out of the traps pretty well there. Ben Kelly in second, 54.32. And Evan Crawford just touched out for that second place, 54.30. 53.6, but under the 54-second mark. That's a good swim.
Yeah, that's the first swimmer we've seen under 54, so look to see more of that going forwards in the next couple of heats.
And that's edging ever closer to that youth final, actually. The reserve place in the youth final, 53.61.
Yep.
Still with 2 heats to go.
53.44 to make it into that youth final.
So, Ruben Kelly, Greer van der Meulen, Callum Rose, Alex Thompson, Callum Dunn, Matthew Brown, Mika van Blerk, and Nathan Campbell. Saw a good swim this morning from Mika van Blerk. He had a good swim, I think, taking the heat that he was swimming in this morning. So he's back again in the water. We see a lot of people that are kind of in this morning sessions, and again they didn't quite make the qualifying time to swim in the morning, swim all their events in the morning, so some in the afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of back-to-back racing going on. I think, like I was saying earlier, when people get this opportunity to race at the Commonwealth Pool and Scottish Winter Short Course Championships, they'll take every opportunity they can to get to race. So great to see people backing up racing, heats, afternoon heats, and then obviously into the finals as well.
100 freestyle here. Greer van der Meulen, one to watch, maybe the son of Alison Shepherd, one of Scotland's legendary swimmers, 5 times an Olympian.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2 Warrender boys off a pretty good start here in Callum Rose and Alex Thompson. So, and down the bottom there, Nathan Campbell, I think that is. Yeah, Nathan Campbell taking it out pretty strong.
Yeah, Callum Rose just ahead of him, the Warrender swimmer, just by 7/100ths at that turn. But, well, Nathan Campbell going really well, outside lane flyer here as they go into the final turn. Callum Rose and Alec Thompson almost side by side in 3 and 4.
Yeah, let's see who can bring it home fast. It looks like the outside smoke here. Nathan Campbell is really pushing it on.
Well, it's going to go Nathan Campbell, or it's going to go to Warrender. Might go to him, is it? Oh, he does take it. Nathan Campbell just takes it. 53.45.
Yeah.
Alex Thompson in second and Callum Rose in third. So
fantastic
Campbell.
race in the outside lane. You'll have to see it, to be honest. If you've got a lane, you've got a chance. Outside lane didn't let that bother him. Took the win in that heat.
And you know what? That's 1/100th outside of the youth qualifying place for the youth final.
Right.
He'll be in a reserve position though, so
it's still a great improvement on his entry time there.
Yeah.
So he's got to be looking at the positives of that swim there. Personal best. You can't complain with the personal best.
certainly not from the outside lane as well. Although when you say the outside lane, these heats are generally very, very tight. Looking at the entry time, only 0.2 of a second between all the swimmers in that previous heat there.
Absolutely, yeah, it's pretty tight across the board. So to be honest, it could come from anywhere. I think that's good. It's keeping us on our toes.
So there's the final heat. Chapman Murphy, Marius Kringelis, Lewis Hammond, Albert Bangun, Lewis Birrell, Luke Shaw, Archie Dixon and Conor Myers. A couple of Edinburgh University swimmers in this one from Aberdeen Performance, right in the centre lane in lane 5, Lewis Birrell.
Yeah, good start from Lewis Birrell as well. He's in those bright green chunks. Some this morning, the 50 fly, and did a PB, so we'll be looking for him to be out pretty fast here. He's sprint orientated for sure, so see if he can get out fast and then bring it home on that second 50.
He's certainly getting out fast here. Looking like he's going to lead them through the halfway point. Lewis Birrell 24.48. That's a decent split. Lewis Hammond following him and Archie Dixon in third.
Yeah, some good racing. It looks like these boys are going to be pretty fast. So moving on a bit here out in 24.4 from Lewis, so it'll be interesting to see how he backs this second 50 up.
He's the oldest swimmer in this field, 20 years of age, Lewis Birrell. And is he going to be able to hang on to that coming into the final stages here? A couple of lanes up, maybe Luke Shaw. In fact, Archie Dixon coming back. In fact, it was Lewis Birrell who takes it just ahead of Lewis Hammond, and with Luke Shaw in third position. But Lewis Birrell, 51.95. He must be delighted with that.
Yeah, 51.95. I don't think you saw it on the screen there, but he was giving us a bit of the gun show at the end of that race. So I think he was pretty thrilled with that one, just sneaking under that 52. It's always great to break those barriers, isn't it? So 51.95, and Lewis Hammond there, 52.15. Great swim from both those boys.
And again there, Lewis Birrell nearly forcing his way into the final. He was around about a second shy, which is quite a big distance really in 100, but still Great performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. He really gave it a good go, and I think he'd be delighted with that performance there. Yeah, he was out fast, and he came back reasonably fast too. So like I was saying, just getting that balance right in that first 50. Got the girls coming up here, so looking forward to this.
Yeah, 3 heats in the women's race. So 1 heat with 3 in it, and then 2 full heats of 8 to follow that. Phoebe Arbuckle goes for Warren de Baths in lane number 3, the 13-year-old, and the 2 East Lothian 14-year-olds go in 4 and 5, Tegan Black and Helen Stoddart. And we saw Helen Stoddart swim very well this morning as well. So I was hoping she's going to follow that one up. Looks like she is at the moment, but Phoebe Arbuckle going well in that red cap of Warrender.
Yeah, good start for the 3 men. On 102s across the board here, so it's looking like it's going to be quite a tight race. So see if those girls can improve on their entry times this afternoon.
2 East Lothian caps next to each other, but it is Helen Stoddart who just got the lead. But Phoebe Arbuckle digging in there, keeping an eye on the 2 East Lothian women inside her, breathing to that side. Now she's breathing the other way.
See off this last turn. This turn's so important on short course swimming. You've got a lot of them, so you've got to try and maximise them and use those underwaters and try and maintain that momentum off the wall. Looks like a great finish here from these girls. 60.8 and 61.2. Fantastic swimming from those girls.
Yeah, excellent there. Phoebe Arbuckle getting in first. 1 minute point 82, edging ever closer to that 1 minute mark. Helen Stoddart 101.28 and Tegan Black 102.53. So good swim there, a good start from Phoebe Arbuckle.
Yeah, I think we'll see some of those girls start challenging that 60 point marker, breaking into those 59s across the next couple of heats. Definitely the next couple of heats, but potentially this one coming up.
Yeah, the B final, it's going to be 57.6 for the B final. The youth final, though, is 1 minute point 20, so some good chances for the youth swimmers in this one.
Yeah, definitely. Looking out for Georgina Hawkins here in lane 5.
Oh, the lineup for this one: in 1, Gabrielle Lessing, Isabel Wood; in 2, Alwyn Cook; in 3, Karen Kelly; in 4, Georgina Hawkins; in 5, Alice Mackey; in 6, Natalie Bruce; in 7, and Iona Wilson completes the lineup. Another East Lothian swimmer down there in lane 8.
Yeah, good start from lane 7 there. Lane 7, Natalie Bruce from Brock.
Yeah, coming now into the halfway point. There we are. You'll see the swimmers. Not much to choose between any of them, really. Alwyn Cook with the lead. Edinburgh University 18-year-olds.
Yeah, really stretching out here in the third 25. A lovely stroke she's got on her, so see how she brings it home in this last 25.
Yeah, she's looking in good position here. Alwyn Cook in lane number 3. It is very close. Not much to choose between. Second position now. Possibly might be Alice Mackey, but it is going to be Alwyn Cook. We'll take this one. 58.81. Another decent time. No one else under the 1 minute mark. Alice Mackey 1 minute point 32 in second position, but that ended up being quite a dominant swim at the end by Alwyn Cook.
Yeah, definitely. Alice Mackey 1 minute point 32. That's an improvement on her entry time just outside that youth final. So
she will be in one of the reserve positions,
yes,
though, as we stand. 1 minute point 36 it was for second reserve. So again, Alice Mackey giving herself another chance to get another swim tonight. But a good swim for Alwyn Cook there. And Georgina Hawkins in third place, the Millfield swimmer, just 3 100s behind Alice Mackey, and Isabel Wood just 3 100s behind Hawkins. So very, very tight finishing there for second position. So I think we might still be waiting for confirmation of that result. No, I think we're moving on now. Alwyn Cook and the scoreboard here in the pool shows Alwyn Cook first position. Don't think there's going to be any disqualifications from that, with Alice Mackey in second position. And the next heat is ready to go, and it's the final heat of this 100 freestyle this afternoon. Lauren Patterson, Anya Slesser, Mari Craig, Anna DaGrossa, Emmy Hutchison, Natalie Jones, Catherine Bailey and Abigail Stimp. That is the lineup, and it's very tight on that first 25.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be calling this one. It's pretty tight across the board.
No swimmer actually in lane 7, Catherine Bailey not taking the start, but we have 7 swimmers almost all in a row. As you see from the scoreboard, it's actually Abigail Stemp down there in lane number 8 who gets the touch at the halfway point.
Yeah, it would be good to see another outside smoke. Lane 1's going pretty strong as well, so the 2 outside lanes really giving it a good go here.
Yeah, it's almost all 17 and 18-year-olds in this one. Emmy Hutchison, 22-year-old from City of Glasgow in the centre. But who is going to take this one? Oh, it looks like Mary Craig just making a little bit of a move. Lauren Patterson right at the top as well. Mary Craig will take it. 59.09 for Mary Craig. That was a good second half of that swim there. Lauren Patterson in second with Abigail Stemp in third. So, yeah, the outside lanes featured heavily there.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see 4 girls get under the minute there in that last heat.
59. There wasn't any junior swimmers in that one.
No, so I think all those finals from this morning will be safe.
Yeah, I think so. Just Alice Mackey just getting in for the reserve spot there, so she's got a chance making that final. Yeah,
moving on to the women's 100 breaststroke. We've got 2 heats coming off of the 50 breaststroke. Excuse me, 50 breaststroke. Yeah,
women's races back to back this time. We have Sophie Portier, Perry Scobie, Millie Donachie, Maya Rogers, Sarah McNaughton, Ailey Armstrong, Ava Kirkham and Zara Kravich. The youngest swimmer, or one of the youngest certainly, taking the start here, 12 years of age, Zara Kravich on the outside lane.
Yeah, 12 years old. I think she might actually be the youngest in the competition if I'm not wrong. I was speaking to the East Lothian coach this morning, Jamie Ward, and he was saying, yeah, only 12 years old, but a great prospect for the future.
I've seen Stefan Kravich set some junior age group records as well, so Zara Kravich certainly one to watch right down here in lane number 8. In the centre of the pool, it looks maybe like 4 and 5, Maya Rogers and Sarah McNaughton. In fact, it was Maya Rogers who took it, but it was Ailey Armstrong in second and Perry Scobie just getting in ahead of Sarah McNaughton, but very tight there for second, third and fourth, but Maya Rogers taking that one by about half a second in the end.
Yeah, great race there from those girls and fantastic improvements on their entry times. Looking forward to this next heat actually. I think Ailey Robertson in lane 8. I think we definitely heard of Katie Robertson and Erin Robertson this morning, that 50 breaststroke. This bit of sibling rivalry going on here. I'm pretty sure she'll be looking up to her sisters there in that 50 breaststroke. Yeah,
that was a cracking race, wasn't it? There they are. So Alicia Goodbrand, Isla McDonald, Darcy Littlefield, Elizabeth Brearley, Caitlin Coya-Gamble, Holly Lumsden, Sahara Smith and Ailey Robertson in that outside lane.
Second lead underway, Alicia Goodbrand, Isla McDonald, Darcy Littlefield.
35.28 to make that youth final, so we'll see if a couple of these youth swimmers can challenge that here in this last heat.
Yeah, all youth swimmers in this one, apart from the middle 2, Elizabeth Brearley and Caitlin Coya-Campbell, so everyone else trying to make it into that youth final.
Ailey Robertson going very well there, as I said, so she's clearly been chasing her sisters down. I'm sure she's one to look out for the future.
Yeah, South Ayrshire cap. She was always prominent with the Robertsons before. I remember it very well. 34.00 for Ailey Robertson. Well, what a swim that was.
Yeah, what a swim there. Definitely didn't put the commentator's curse on her on that one.
Oh,
so
well
fantastic to see Ailey Robertson come through strong there.
Good spot. 34, and that is well inside the time to make that youth final. So we'll see her again. Can she dip under the 34-second mark?
Yeah, wouldn't that be fantastic? I think I was looking at the Scottish age group records for the 50 breaststroke, and Katie and her sister, they hold all age group records for the 50 breaststroke except from the 13-year-old, which Lucy Ross has. So a fantastic pedigree there in that family.
Yeah, absolutely, and still going strong as we saw this morning, the Robertsons. So 200 metres backstroke for men. The pace just reducing a little bit, giving us a little bit of a breather from the 50s, the fast 50s and the 100s. We're on to the fast 200s now though. Yeah,
it's been pretty rapid fire to start off, which is great to see, but different event here in the 200 backstroke, so we'll see we'll see how these boys get on, but definitely a huge opportunity here for the underwater sections of the race. See the top level 200 backstroke is really utilising those underwater sections where you can go up to 15 metres off the wall, so we'll see how these boys attack this 200 backstroke.
The line-up for this one: Zach Slater, Jack Mitchell, Evan Crawford and Stuart McFarlane. They're all handily arranged in age order. Zach Slater 14, Jack Mitchell 15, Evan Crawford 16 and Stuart McFarlane 17. It's nice and easy for us, and they're all swimming in formation as well, which is even better.
Yeah, we couldn't have it much easier up here, could we? It's an interesting race here. We'll see some of the boys take it out strong, and others might utilise the back end of the race a lot more. So,
watched Craig McNally this morning. He was always renowned for that fast finish at the end of this 200 backstroke.
Yeah, he looked pretty comfortable this morning. Watching Craig swim 200 backstroke, he always makes it look so easy, and then just turns on the jet engines on that last 50. So. Definitely a good tactic that's worked for Craig over the years. Had a fantastic swimming career so far. So I'm sure some of these boys will be looking up to Craig and how he attacks his 200 backstroke.
Now halfway point, Evan Crawford just is edging ahead of Stuart McFarlane there, with Zach Mitchell in third, ahead of Zach Slater. And yeah, it looks like they look pretty relaxed. This is good technique from these two in the leading two spots.
Yeah, I think some of the best backstrokes in the world just make it look so effortless. So I think sometimes it'd be a bit deceptive of backstroke where it looks like people aren't even trying, but it's actually just some of the techniques, and the smoother some people look, and often the more effective they are with their technique.
Yeah, I don't think backstroke ever was easy for me when I did it.
No, me neither. I was absolutely a freestyler, so my backstroke was more of a recovery stroke. Get all the oxygen in I could. So I couldn't give too many pointers on backstroke technique myself.
Well, I swam Medley, but it was survive the backstroke and then start to go. My fly was okay.
Absolutely, I think backstroke's it's a challenging stroke, and actually. We've struggled a bit with depth in backstroke over the years, but I think we're starting to see quite a few people come through in those backstroke events.
So into the finish. Well, it was very close at the finish. We're just hearing there might be a disqualification there, so we'll get confirmation of that result. Oh, there is, yes, look at that. Evan Crawford disqualified in that one. So Stuart McFarlane confirmed in first position, 220.33. Jack Mitchell in second, 221.06. So
yeah, moving on to heat two.
Yeah, Joe Carter goes in line one in heat number 2 from Delting. Cameron Doran from Bellshill Sharks in line 2. Ewan Beattie from Warren DeBass in 3. Ross Errants from South Ayrshire in 4. Matthew Brown, Aberdeen Performance in 5. Keane Smith from Airdrie in 6. Finlay Davis from Midlothian in 7. And Jack Simpson from East Kilbride in lane number 8.
Yeah, lane 4 and 5, Matthew and Ross, both 18-year-olds. They're entered quite a bit faster than the rest of the field, so we'll see if they start to separate themselves in this race.
Try and make their way into the B final. There's no youth final in this 200 backstroke. The B final, you're looking at 210.26. Try and force your way into that B final. And their entry time's 211.65. So not beyond the realms of possibility here for the two in the centre.
No, absolutely a possibility. It would take a great swim this afternoon to get in, but by no means impossible. So we'll see how these boys get on in this race. Quite a high rate there in lane 4. Lane 4 from Ross. Different way of swimming it, of course, taking it out quite hard at the front end. So we'll see how he fares on that last 100.
Yeah, he's certainly taken out very quickly. Ross Errants in lane number 4 from South Ayrshire. And he's followed by the two swimmers just 1 and 2 lanes up from him. Ewan Beattie, Cameron Doran seem to be pushing him. He's giving himself a chance here. 101.82.
Definitely 101.82. He'll be looking to maybe even sneak under that 210 if he's paced this properly. So we'll see how he fares on this last 75. He looks pretty strong coming into this turn here. So So we'll be keeping an eye on that final time there, see if he can sneak his way into that B final.
Yeah, he's got a little bit to go yet. No one seems to really be making up the deficit that they have. Maybe Cameron Doran there in second position, not quite on the feet of Ross Aarons at the moment. A couple of seconds in it as they go into the last 50.
Yeah, we'll see how he fares in this last 50. 1:36 there, so probably about 34 in that 50. So it'll be pretty tight for him to get in that B final, but still a great swim nonetheless. And some of these other boys starting to come through. 6 and 7 pushing strong now in this last 50.
Yeah, what's he got left for this last 25? The time's looking to make that B final 2:10.26. Well, it's going to be very close indeed, but it's been a good swim here from Ross Aarons. Certainly took it out fast. And into the finish now, just slips by. It's 2:11.38 for Ross Aarons, though, and that's an improvement on his entry time. And he went for that, didn't he? But he had to.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see that from a swimmer just attacking the race with a bit of intent. You got to give yourself a chance to swim fast, and if you're not up too fast enough on that first 100, you're not really giving yourself that opportunity, in my opinion. So I think it's about balance, but yeah, getting out fast, I love to see it.
Well, scoreboard's gone blank again. We're being told there's a problem with the timing pads, so the swimmers will be happy with that. It's always a nervous moment, isn't it, when you look up and the scoreboard's gone blank? You think, uh-oh.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't know how your race has gone either, and if you don't see a time attached to that swim, you're always based on feel. And sometimes the best swims that you do don't feel fantastic, and I think that's it's an interesting scenario for those boys there. But yeah, you've just got to hope you no technical infractions in that heat.
Yeah, you'd have been alright as a freestyler though, Scott, wouldn't you?
Oh,
Can't get disqualified much for a freestyle. You go false start, pulling on the rope, walking on the bottom. That's about it, really.
Pulling on the rope's an interesting one. We did actually see that in the Tokyo Olympics in the 200 free. Some guy cheeky pulling the lane rope, and I don't think he got caught for a disqualification, but I'm not sure how much faster that's going to make you. So yeah, definitely, mostly off the start, and obviously 15 metres off the start and on the turns. So yeah, freestyle, we're usually pretty safe in terms of our technical infractions.
What was your favourite distance in terms of your freestyle? No, we're going to have much chance to talk because we're back to the 50s. You can tell me later.
I will tell you later. Yeah, let's get back into this action here.
Let you have time to think about it.
Yeah, 55.
Callum Sinclair, Ben Kelly, Fraser Claxton, Brodie Gordon-Gibson back in again, and James Burnett. 50 fly, 2 lengths of this 25 metres pool.
Yeah, a good start in lane 5 there from the Warrender swimmers.
So those 2 red caps are leading the field here. Ben Kelly and Brodie Gordon-Gibson. It looked like it might be Brodie Gordon-Gibson coming through. It's going to be a clear win actually for Brodie Gordon-Gibson. He takes that one, 26.30 for him. That's a massive improvement on his entry time, 29.70.
Yeah, fantastic. 3 seconds in a 50 is pretty remarkable. So he was quite a high rate there and trying to minimise his breath. So I think you'll see some of these swimmers as well. Try not to breathe too many times on those 50. It's a bit of a splash and dash, this one.
And all the swimmers there look like they're inside their entry times. 28.27 was the slowest. 28.84 was the fastest entry time. So everyone well inside the entry times there. Here's the second heat now. Noah Quinnell from Shetland, Zach Slater from East Lothian, Finlay Nelson from Dumfries, Tom Nicholson from Delting, Ryan Broadley from Braw, Callum Rose from Warrender, Adam Scott and Max Pelosi, the 2 in the outside lane from City of Glasgow.
Yeah, we see Callum Rose back in again. He was in the 100 freestyle not that long ago, so a quick backup here. I'm sure he's done the training for that at Warrender. Backing up back-to-back races, heats afternoon heats and finals.
Fastest entry time 27.52. They're going to have their work cut out to challenge that time from the first heat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see if one of these boys can step up. Not been too much racing recently, so some of these times might be a bit out of date. So there's definitely a possibility that some of these swimmers have a good 50 fly in them here.
Yeah, especially from the young swimmers, if they haven't competed much, you know, you sometimes see big improvements.
Yeah, I think we've seen some of the swimmers grow about 3 feet over the last year and a half. So that in itself lends itself to a bit of an improvement here.
Yeah, looks like Callum Rose is taking it out strongly there in lane number 6. Oh, it's very close indeed. Looks like Callum Rose, Finlay Nelson maybe in lane number 3. Finlay Nelson coming back strongly. I think Callum Rose might just hold on, is he? He does. 26.01. Wow.
Yeah, Callum Rose, I'm led to believe he's got quite a strong family pedigree in swimming, and both his parents being Scottish internationalists in the past. So it looks like he's trying to carry on that trend going forwards into the future. 26.01, great swim.
So Callum, and, there are some spaces. There's quite a lot of spaces available in the youth final for this one. 5 spaces available, so it's your fastest 5 youth swimmers. Will certainly get a place in the final tonight, in one of the finals tonight. So
yeah, I'm sure some of these swimmers here will be eyeing up those places in the finals, but they can't control what anyone else does, so they've just got to focus on their own lane, focus on their own swim, and see how fast they can go.
So the next heat sees Matthew McMillan from Incas in 1, Alex Thompson, Warrender in 2, Kieran Brickenser, Aberdeen Dolphins next to his teammate Andrew Brodie in 3 and 4, Cameron Craney back in again from Cumbernauld, Dylan Cashmore, South Ayrshire, Kieran Lennox, Aberdeen Performance, and Murray Dixon, Stirling Swim. Yeah,
good start from Kieran Lennox here in lane 7. It's pretty tight across the board. See who comes up first after this underwater section.
Kieran Lennox now with that blue cap. Looks like he might just hold on here. Cameron Craney finishing strongly. Also Alex Thompson going well at the top. Oh, it is going to go to Kieran Lennox.
26.02, that's fantastic. Cemented on 27.38. Aberdeen swimmers starting to come through. Maybe keep an eye on him over the next couple of years.
So you want a year, Scott?
So at the moment I've been sort of coaching throughout all 3 of the squads, so I've done a bit of work with Kieran. So Kieran swims with Gregor McMillan in the performance group at University of Aberdeen.
Yeah, certainly a good time there. 26.02 for him. That should be good enough for place in the youth final. So get another crack at that 26-second mark tonight, depending on what happens in this final heat. As we have Jake Gibson, Magnus Bullock, Murray Pritchard, Joshua Mitchell, Ethan Horn, Fraser Wilson, Travis Davey, and Ewan McLeod. In fact, lane 4 is missing, so no Joshua Mitchell in lane 4.
Yeah, no Josh Mitchell. He's more commonly known for his breaststroke swimming, so maybe decided to give the 50 fly a miss this afternoon. Good start in lane 5.
Yeah, Ethan Horn from Rutherglen, a 19-year-old, trying to dip under that 26-second mark. It's going to be very close here, but I think he's going to take it at the end. All the way, it really closed up towards the end there, but Ethan Horn takes it in 26.33, just 8/100ths was the margin at the end, ahead of Murray Pritchard, 26.41. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, well, a close race there. Fly is always a difficult one to judge the finish. I think we've seen from Olympics in the past with Phelps and Cavich in that 100 fly. You know, judging that, do you take an extra stroke or do you glide in if you've not got that finish spot on? So it's a great racing from those boys in the 50 fly. Moving on to the girls 50 fly.
Yeah, not as many heats for the girls here. It's just 2 heats. We have Ailey Armstrong, Alice Cumming, Grace Courtney, Millie Donachie, Charlotte Hardy, Freya Masson, Perry Scobie, and Rebecca Cole. Full field here for this first heat. All the entry times, well, the fastest entry time 31.60.
Yeah, pretty good start there from lane 5. Charlotte Hardy entered on a 31.8, so it looks like she might be under that here.
She's going to lead them home. 3 swimmers all in a row right at the top here, but it's going to be Charlotte Hardy. Yeah, 30.25. That's very good for Charlotte Hardy. Tough qualification for the youth final. The youth final is very close in terms of qualification here.
Yeah, 29.68 to make that youth final. Yeah. So pretty swift swimming.
And 28.98 to make the B final as well, so pretty close in terms of that B final, so just outside that.
Yeah, these girls in the next heat entered on 30-point mids, so we'll see if any of these can challenge that 30 barrier and break into those 29 seconds.
I think we've got all the swimmers here in this one. Chloe Barron, Ciara Davidson, Katie Rose, Katrina Stewart, Iona Wilson, Gabriella Lessing, Laura Frizzell and Lauren Clark. That is the swimmers for the second heat of this 50 butterfly.
Yeah, lane 3 there from Warren. They're really using that underwater section off the dive to her advantage. You can see she's come up first in front of everyone else, so and that's a lesson for everyone back home. Those underwater sections can really pay dividends in these 50-metre events.
Yeah, using that to good advantage. Katie Rose was pretty good off the turn as well. Looks like she's going to hold on to this one. Coming back strongly, Gabriella Lessing, but it is going to be Katie Rose, 29.34.
And that looks like she has qualified for that youth final tonight, so that is an excellent effort this afternoon and just nudged someone out of that youth final.
Yeah, 29.34, very good indeed for the 15-year-old. So we'll see Katie Rose back again. Excellent swims there, and that's the two girls 50-metre butterfly events.
Yeah, a bit of a blink and you miss at those 50s, so pretty fast swimming, a pretty hectic start, and I think we're off for a bit of a change of pace here with the men's 800 freestyle.
Yeah, there's a lineup for the 800 freestyle. 8 swimmers taking the start in this one. We have 2 heats of the 800 freestyle. It's actually 3 heats, but the fastest heat is going to be swum tonight in the final session. And big names such as Stephen Milne will take the start in that final.
Yeah, we'll see Stephen and Jack Muncie, former training partners at Perth City under Anne Dixon, so both swimming for Stirling University now, so I'm sure there's a bit of rivalry there and a bit of history, so we'll see if Jack can challenge Stephen tonight in the 800 free. One
to watch out for tonight. We'll see how these swimmers can go along this afternoon. Entry time for this one, the fastest entry time is 8:55, ranges all the way up to 9:24.25. But these distance events, Scott, you just have big improvements on these distance events, especially if you haven't often swum the event, which in the case of the 800 freestyle, maybe there's not too many opportunities to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think 800s and 1500s are a bit of a rarity in competitions these days, which is a bit unfortunate. But I think, yeah, them having the opportunity to swim this 800 free here, I think we might see some pretty significant drops. A lot of opportunity in the 800 free for improvement. You obviously got 31 turns, so that in itself, I mean, if you pick out half a second on each turn, you're looking at a pretty big drop there in itself. So it might not even be the swimming that these guys need to improve to really bring down these 800 free times.
Well, I think we've got all 8 swimmers here. Behind the blocks, Owen Williamson from East Lothian, 16-year-old. He goes in lane number 1, right up at the top of the screen. Jack Simpson from East Kilbride goes in lane number 2, 15-year-old. Callum Peebles from East Lothian, another 15-year-old, he goes in lane 3. Nathan Campbell from Stirling Swim goes in lane 4, 16-year-old. 17-year-old Struan Bennett from Kinross goes in lane 5. Greg Hall, the youngest in the field at 14, Aberdeen Performance, goes in lane 6. Ewan Walker from Wren 96, 17-year-old, goes in 7. And off to a pretty decent start, 15-year-old from Geary, Fraser Tetlow, down at the bottom here.
Yeah, I think we'll see some different pacing tactics here in the 800 free. It's definitely quite a long race, so you'll see some of these guys take it out strong and maybe attack the race and hold on. Maybe some people will try and even negative split the 400s, so come back faster on the second 400 than the first 400. We've got a range of ages as well with Greg, only 14 in this race, so yeah, lots to look out for here.
And is Greg one that you're familiar with?
Yeah, definitely. So Greg's coached by Lisa up in Aberdeen as part of the performance development group. it's got a brother Dan and a twin brother Dan actually, and his older sister Kaylin, who will be up in the 800 freestyle fastest heat this evening. So I'm sure there'll be a bit of sibling rivalry again, and he might well be trying to set a time for Kaylin tonight. So that'll be interesting just to keep an eye on. Entered on 9:03. I think Kaylin was entered on 8:56, so not too much between them.
It's always nice to get under these barriers, isn't it? If anyone can dip under that 9-minute mark, that'd be a real kind of milestone.
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes you find that people just sneaking on the edge of those 9 minutes and then they'll break through. Maybe they'll go 8:40 or something like that. So I think 800 free. It's an interesting race.
Well, Nathan Campbell is going over in first position there, 2:04.54. So Nathan Campbell and Struan Bennett looking in a good position here as they go through that 225 mark. Is 800 something that you ever ventured into, Scott?
Definitely, as a junior swimmer, I was swimming pretty much all the races, as I think you should. Multi-discipline, multi-distance approach to the development of the athletes. So when I was a younger swimmer, absolutely, even into my late teens, and then a bit older on, maybe when I came to university, I specialised a bit further down, the 4, the 2 and the 1. So certainly dabbled in the 800 a bit. I don't think it was the prettiest sight for some of my coaches watching over the years, but no, absolutely. I think we should be encouraging 800 freestyles across the board. Definitely an opportunity in Scotland to break through onto that distance scene, and I think you might see some of these boys take that opportunity as we go forward through the years.
Yeah, well, Struan Bennett, Nathan Campbell, looks like everything's getting a little bit stretched out. Of course, you were telling me earlier that prior to going to university, you were in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. I lived in Australia for 6 years and trained out there on the Gold Coast at the Southport School under Chris Nesbitt. I mean, you look at Australian swimming, they had a fantastic pedigree of distance swimming. Hackett and Thorpe and Kowalski and Kieran Perkins, to name a few. It's interesting you think about race tactics. I had a couple of coaches in Australia speak about distance swimming. A lot of people might not agree with it, but they would say go out hard and build. So I think that's the attitude they've had in Australia over the years, and it'd be good to see some of these boys really take on that challenge of the 800 and 1500 free.
Was Southport, that's where the Commonwealth Games, was that the Southport pool, was it, or was that the special?
So I trained at a school nearby, about 10 minutes away, the Southport school, and Gold Coast 2018 Commonwealth Games were in Southport, Southport Olympic pool, next to a nice beautiful location on the sea. So yeah, look a great Commonwealth Games, and a fantastic result for Scotland out there on the Gold Coast.
Were you out there?
No, unfortunately I wasn't. I was watching from home. I had quite a few teammates out there racing at the Commonwealth Games, Jack Thorpe, Kieran McGuckin, so they were part of that 4x100 freestyle on the Gold Coast, bringing home that bronze medal. So that was great, just to watch my training partners, people that I was training with day in, day out, achieve fantastic success, and obviously Duncan's medal haul was quite incredible. So
amazing.
Yeah, I think Gold Coast was great for Team Scotland in the swimming, and we've obviously got Birmingham next year, so it'll be interesting to see how we rebound off that, and how we come out of the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham.
Yeah, the Gold Coast was fun. I was out there commentating on the para events, the big para event presence in the Commonwealth Games now, which is built up. But it was such a great venue, just kind of like a beacon, and when the floodlights were on at night, you're kind of driving up to it, you think, wow, this is absolutely amazing. And only in Australia. You must have been really spoilt training out there for a few years. Yeah,
absolutely. I think you take it for granted a little bit when you're out there, and then you realise how lucky you had it. I mean, training outdoors, 50-metre pools, you can't really ask for much more as a swimmer, especially the climates you get out there. It's pretty nice. You get a tan at the same time as you're swimming, so not something you can get here, especially having moved up to Aberdeen. We sort of get 4 seasons in one day up there, so it's a bit of a contrast, but no, a fantastic place to swim, and their whole lifestyle sort of is built around the water and water safety and swimming and surfing and the like. So yeah, what a great experience that was for me.
Well, these swimmers, Struan Bennett is the one who has taken it out. He stretched away from the rest of the field. That was the 600 mark. So a couple of hundred to go for Struan Bennett, and he's around about, Scott, it's around about that 105 mark for each of the hundreds.
Yeah, he's pushing on pretty strong here, really pulling away from the rest of the field. We've got Callum and Nathan having quite a nice race there in lanes 3 and 4, so that might come right down to the finish.
That's them just coming into the picture now, as we see Struan Bennett just going in the other direction, and not quite going to catch the other swimmers. 5 lengths to go, as you can see the lane markers from the official. Maybe sneak a little look as he goes over the turn, just under his arm as he does that freestyle stroke. As he comes down to the 700 mark. It's going to be good swim, I think, this one, and it's been well paced all the way through.
Yeah, definitely. He really took it on there after about the 400 metre mark. Really started to pull away from the field, and you see him just really continue that in this last 100 metres. So I think you have those lap counters, and the more you look at them, the more you think you need to look at them. You look at it and you see 3, and you don't quite believe it, but you see a lot of these boys looking up and down. So.
It's when you look at it and you see 11, it's like, oh my god, you don't believe it either.
Almost just becomes a habit in the 800 free. You start swimming like water polo. So now he's hearing the bell here for this last 50, so he's starting to pick up his stroke rate and bring the legs in on this last 50. You see how far under his entry time he can get here.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be under it. He's going to be under the 840, I think. Just how far under he can be. It's been an excellent display, certainly in the second half of this one. He stretched away from the others. Looks like Callum Peebles is just stretching away from Nathan Campbell, but here comes Struan Bennett now into the finish. And excellent time there, 8:36.53 for him.
Yeah, almost 20 seconds off his entry time there. That was fantastic, so I'm sure he will be delighted with that one.
No, it's not a bad afternoon's work at all. Callum Peebles coming in now, 8:52.51 for Callum. Again, an improvement on the entry time. Third place, Nathan Campbell, 8:57. Also under the 9-minute mark, and I think Greg Hall just over that 9-minute mark. So.
Yeah, just over that 9 minute. I'm sure he'll be pleased with the PB, but definitely a little bit frustrating to just be outside that 9 minutes. And I don't know. I don't think Kaelin will be too concerned about that. I think she'll be looking to dip under that in this evening's final for the women's event.
Well, Greg Hall gave everything there. 9:77 for fourth place. The other 3 under the 9-minute mark. Well under for the winner there, Struan Bennett. Next heat coming up. Just see if we've got all the swimmers here. I think we have. Full 8 with Ben McLaughlin from Geary with that yellow cap out there in lane number 1. Jacob Wood from Elgin in lane 2. Scott Fleming from East Kilbride in lane 3. Angus Johnston from City of Glasgow. He's got the fastest entry time. He goes in 4. Luke Hornsey from East Lothian in 5. Kai Connolly from City of Glasgow in lane number 6. Conor Myers from Mount Kelly in lane 7, and Archie Dixon from City of Glasgow in lane 8, just about to go over at the 50 mark.
Pretty even across this first 50. See some of these boys take it out, different race tactics, and then so really from that 400 metre on we start to see a bit of separation across the field, but relatively tight off across the first 100 here.
Again, range of age groups. Kai Connolly, the youngest here, 14 years of age, going in lane 6, up to his City of Glasgow teammate Archie Dixon, who leads them through at the moment in the outside lane. At the top of the screen as we're looking at it at the moment. And there he's at the bottom now as we change the angle. 1:40. Just slightly slower than the first heat, but probably more important that we check the times as they progress through towards the end of this 800. But Dixon's gone out well and just making a move in the centre. It looks like it is Luke Hornsey.
Yeah, he's got a nice long stroke there, both those boys. So really trying to maximise that distance per stroke. Nice efficient freestyle techniques. I mentioned earlier there's 31 turns in this 800 free, so I'm sure that's an area that their coaches have been working on with their athletes, developing their swimmers. Short course swimming, you can't really hide without great turns. So yeah, I think 800 free, 1500 free. The more turns you've got, the more important it is to really have them skills nailed down.
Yeah, doing a good job. The leading two here are separated by a couple of lanes, and maybe Hornsey is maybe just edging ahead. 205.50 again. It's again pretty much on that 105 pace, just about a second down on that first heat. I think we could be on for something pretty similar.
Yeah, 205. Be interested to see how he progresses across this 800. Look at his 200s across the boards. A lot of those swimmers, senior swimmers, are looking to pretty much even split those 400 frees. So even negative split. Some people have enough left in the tank to be able to come back faster on that second 400. So I'm sure these swimmers have discussed with their coaches race tactics. So it'll be interesting to see how they progress.
All about holding that technique as they get to the closing stages of that. When the wheels come off, it's very difficult.
Absolutely,
that
yeah.
technique.
You can definitely try too hard in swimming, so I think it's just trusting your technique and trusting your technique under pressure. I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the race.
Luke Hornsey is coming up to the 300 mark. Last heat was 310.07 or 310.23, so very close. Previous heat was very slightly faster, but I think that Luke Hornsey's looking good here. I think he's going to come away with a decent time if he can continue this pace.
Absolutely, it looks really relaxed when his stroke. Nice long freestyle technique. So you might start to turn it on a bit in that last 200 and maybe even start earlier. Don't want to get to the end of the race and think, oh, I've left a bit in the tank there. You really want to empty the tank once you finish the race. No, you've done everything you can to swim as fast as possible.
Well, just keep an eye on the gap between Luke Hornsey and Angus Johnson as well. It's a couple of seconds at the moment. We'll see if that's going to close up or if it's going to extend as we go through this 800.
Yeah, certainly a long way to go. Just coming up to that 400 meter turn here in this 25. So we'll see where he's at 400. How he chooses to pace this, split his efforts across both 400 meters.
So Hornsey 15:35. He's pacing slightly faster than the first heat, just by a few tenths of a second each 100. Angus Johnson in second. I think the gap is just slightly extending now. Scott Fleming in third position. I wonder if Johnson can just be able to hold on to Luke Hornsey alongside them.
Yeah, certainly this third quarter of the race is the important one, to be honest. We all know we can finish the last 200, so it's really them digging in this third quarter of the race. It's actually the longest standing record in the books, the 800 freestyle senior record for the men. Graham Smith from 2001. So across all the men's and women's short course and long course senior records, that is the longest standing 20 years ago. So pretty impressive statistic there. I'm sure as we progress through and try to develop distance swimming across Scotland, we'll be looking to take that one out the books. Alison Shepherd's 50 frees 2002, so closely followed on that one.
Well, Alison Shepherd just up in the stands alongside us. Up to our little, she's not there. Now that I say that, she's gone. She was there earlier, believe me. Yeah, I remember Alison Shepherd from the Commonwealth Games in 2002, and Graham Smith, of course, back in that. Alison winning that famous gold medal in the 50 freestyle. I do remember Alan Lynn, who was the team manager at the time, all sitting us down and saying, you know, you have more Olympic medalists than the English and Welsh teams put together, because we had Graham and the English and Welsh had no Olympic medalists at that time.
Yeah, I like that statistic, to be honest. I'm not sure we could say that too much these days.
No, not these days. British swimming, well, Graham was a shining light in British swimming at that time with his medal in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, to hold a record 20 years later is pretty impressive when you think of the technical advancements that we've had in the sport, even throughout the supersuit era into to even just training advancements. We know more about the sport than we ever have. So, yeah, I think if we want to try and progress distance swimming across Scotland, don't know. Is there a change of approach we need? I'm not too sure. We'll be looking into that into the future. I know Alan was talking about a test set to enrol across the whole of Scotland to try and encourage that distance swimming. So I'll be looking for that. I'll be quite excited to see the future of distance swimming in Scotland.
And of course, the open water swimming it's an entirely different discipline, of course, but you know, that's your kind of ultra distance, I suppose. And,
yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people made the move. David Davis, for example, made the move. Jazz Carlin didn't quite work out for her.
Yeah, you see some of those distance swimmers even doing both at those major competitions. You get up to the 25k, so be pretty strong endurance athletes to be able to manage 25 kilometers in one race. So definitely up to the extremes there in the open water swimming.
Well, 100 to go for Luke Hornsey, and he swam this very well. He's really good last 100 there. Scott Fleming in second, pulled away from Angus Johnson there. Looks like he's going to be clear in third, and as we suspected, everything but getting a little bit stretched out as they come to the closing stages now.
Yeah, definitely stretching out a bit as we get to this last quarter of the race. Yeah, Luke coming in there, 8 minutes with 50 to go, so it's looking like a good swim from Luke. Entered on 8:47, so definitely going to be in those 8:30s somewhere. So we'll see how well he can bring it home in this last 25. Starting to pick up that stroke rate a little bit, still keeping his stroke nice and relaxed, trusting his technique.
Yeah, it's been an impressive swim here from Luke Hornsey, the 15-year-old. Entry time of 8:47. He's going to be somewhere around about 15 seconds ahead. In fact, he's under the 8:30. What a finish there from Luke Hornsey. Wow.
What a finish, back in the 29 there. So clearly paced that race well and had enough there in the tank for the last 50. Did he have too much? I'm sure he'll assess that with his coaches after the race. 8:37 there from Scott Fleming.
Yeah, Ben McLaughlin in the outside lane, 8:43.03.
Yeah, some really big drops, like you were saying. The 800 are definitely an opportunity for these big drops for these swimmers. Maybe they haven't swum it for a while. Even if they have, there's a lot of meterage to make a difference there in the 800.
The result is confirmed there. Luke Hornsey taking that one. Sensational, 8:29.43. Scott Fleming in second position. There, swam well in the second half of that one. Ben McLaughlin from the outside lane getting in for third place, and Angus Johnson in fourth position.
Yeah, great swim, great pacing there. Am I mistaken there? Was he out in 4:15 back in 4:14? Did he negative split that race there, or was that the heat before?
Yeah, no, 4:15.35 I've got here for the halfway point, and 4:14.08.
Yeah,
so a good negative split over a second.
Good negative split. I'm sure he'll be pleased with that one.
Yeah. All about that 60 point on that final 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bringing in the afterburners for that sprint finish.
So 2 heats of the women's 800 freestyle now. Again, there's 3 heats of this one, but the fastest heat being swum in the final session this evening. And this first of the women's 800 is Stella McCarty in lane 3 from City of Glasgow. Louisa Stoddart, first of the 2 East Lothian swimmers, she goes in 4. Cara Gordon from Stirling Swim goes in 5, and Tegan Black from East Lothian goes in lane number 6.
Yeah, I think similar to the men's 800 free, we'll see different tactics, different race tactics. Some people might come home stronger than others in that last 400, but I think generally across the board they'll be looking to even split that race, and we saw that negative split there in the last heat, which was fantastic. So we'll see if any of these girls can follow suit in this 800.
2 swimmers taking it out, Stella McCarty and Louisa Stoddart. Who's going to get the touch there at that first 100? It's going to be McCard out. 105.50. Entry time for these swimmers are all about the 9-minute 30 mark, apart from Tegan Black, the youngster, who's just over the 10-minute mark, and that's kind of the way it's playing out in the early stages, Scott. The three kind of favourites alongside, and it's going to be a lonely 10 minutes for her, Tegan Black, I think.
Yeah, definitely. The three are starting to break away into their own little race there in 3, 4, and 5. But I'm sure Tegan will be focused on her own swim, and she'll probably be prepared for that. She might have looked at the start sheets before and known that those girls are gonna swim away in that first 100, but she won't let that affect her race plan, and I'm sure she'll be looking to try and push that 10 minutes and maybe sneak under it.
Yeah, let's hope so. As we said before, always good to break these barriers, and that 10-minute for Tegan Black will be a big one.
Yeah, it's an interesting one with the three swimmers pushing out the front there. I think you've got to swim in your own lane, really. You can't control what anyone else does in their lane, so focus on yourself and, control the controllables is a quote that is thrown around quite a lot, but I like it because it's true. You can't control what other people are going to do. You can use them to your advantage, definitely, but you can also use them to your disadvantage. So I think focusing on your own lane and your own swim, your own pacing, your own tactics, your own technique is important in swimming, especially for an 800 where there's different tactics across the board, different age ranges, different entry times. So
yeah, we'll keep an eye on Tegan, see how she's progressing at the halfway point, see if she's under that 10-minute pace. She's not too far behind Louisa Stoddart as they come down to the 250 mark, but in the centre there, Cara Gordon looking good at the front, just with around about a second of an advantage over Stella McCarty from the city of Glasgow. Cara Gordon, well, sterling swimmer, the two 16-year-olds in the centre of the pool. That was Louisa Stoddart and Cara Gordon. Stella McCarty, just 15 years of age, and as they come up to 300 mark, 3:26, the pace on around about a 1:10 or so.
Okay.
So
yeah, long strokes here again in the 800 free. You see these guys stretching out, really trying to maximise the distance, but you'll have a look there at their legs. They're pretty much soft leg kick, but it's consistent. So I think these girls are really trying to drive that long distance per stroke through a nice balanced and soft, continuous leg kick throughout this 800.
It's getting still not really a decisive gap, you would say, at the front, but I think it is just extending now. So it's that 2.23 seconds at that term. We'll just keep an eye on that gap. They'll be coming down to the halfway point as they hit the bottom. And in terms of the other two, they're having a real ding-dong battle there. Nothing in it at all.
Yeah, like you said, you can't take everything from the entry time. So it's good to see Tegan and Louisa getting into a good race here in their own right. I'm sure they'll use each other to push themselves on as they come to the 400-metre mark and push towards the finish.
Yeah, the gap certainly hasn't opened up as much as we thought it might. In terms of the difference between the person in the lead and the back marker. But that's 4:38.30 at the halfway point for the leader, Cara Gordon, and that's around about 111 and a half for Cara Gordon there, and still tracking her Stella McCarty, 5:13.81 there and 5:16.90. So the gap is very, very slightly extending now. It's 3 seconds. It was 2.5 seconds. Now it's 3.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll start seeing the pacing come into play here. See who's got enough left for that last 400, and maybe even these girls are trying to negative split as well. So we've got two good races going on here in the one heat.
So we're coming up to 500.
Yeah, it does certainly look like Cara Gordon is just picking up the pace very slightly. 5:49.73. Pretty consistent. A couple of tenths faster than she went in the previous 100. And those couple of tenths on each 100's got to make the difference, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. 800 meters. You've got a lot of room to improve your time. You've also got a lot of room to add time. So I think it is down to those skills. If you're talking about 0.2 per 100, you can find 0.2 quite easily, and I'm pretty sure these girls are aware of that. And even just those finer details, not breathing too much into the turn. Bit of a quicker rotation, you can easily find 0.5 per 100, and that really adds up to the end of the 800, certainly.
Yeah, the gap just extending now to 4 seconds, and Tegan Black has gone ahead of Louisa Stoddart now by about 3 seconds, so Tegan Black looking good for a big best time here.
Yeah, that's what you like to see here. PBing at the national competitions. It's not an easy task. There's a bit of pressure involved in these competitions. So some of these swimmers might be a new experience for them. They might not have attended a national competition, and certainly a national competition amidst a pandemic. It's got a different look to it, a different feel, different challenges. So I'm sure all these swimmers are overcoming different challenges along the way and learning from their racing and swimming fast as well.
Well, we'll just kick the gap there. Stella McCarty looks like she is maybe just closing that gap, and that last 100 there for Cara Gordon was just a little bit slower than she's gone, down to 112 there. And the gap certainly is closing up between the top two.
Yeah, have a look here. It's down to 2 seconds here, so she's definitely got Cara in her sights, Stella. So we'll see how it progresses over the last part of the race. See if she can bring in the legs a bit more and try and catch Cara on this last 200.
I think Cara just slightly dropped off the pace, and Stella just slightly increased the pace, but all of a sudden it just getting closed up now. We're coming up to the 700 mark. This could be a cracking finish in prospect here.
Yeah, we've seen some great finishes tonight, and you'd love to see it in an 800 free. You see them in the 50 all the time, but to get a close finish in the 800 frees, it's a bit more difficult to acquire. So she's definitely catching. She's starting to turn up a little bit here, bringing the legs in and picking up the stroke rate. So it looks like we're on for a great finish here.
Yeah, well, Cara's just maintained that pace round about the 112 pace that she had there. But look at this. We're coming down. They'll hear the bell at the bottom here. And, well, who is going to have enough left for this final 50? This is going to be a cracking finish here in prospect for those two.
Yeah, you hear that bell, and it just gives you a bit of an extra boost. So I'm sure those girls have heard that bell and thought, 50 to go, let's empty the tank here, really bring in the legs and see how fast we can finish on this final 50.
Well, it's not all over yet. They're coming over this final turn. They'll know they've got one length to go, as it says in the lane markers here. Cara Gordon just about holding on. She's really going hard to the legs there, Cara Gordon. Stella McCarty, she is absolutely digging in, increasing the stroke rate as they come into the finish. They're absolutely together, and it does go to Cara Gordon by 2/100ths of a second. Oh, Stella McCarty very, very nearly did it. Cara Gordon led from start to finish there.
What a race, what a finish. I don't think we were expecting that, but that is fantastic racing from these girls. And Tegan Black just coming there in 9:40.3, so I'm sure she'll be delighted with that swim. 24 seconds under her entry time, and Louisa coming in there 9:45. So great swims from those girls.
Yeah, well done there, Cara Gordon.
And they said distance swimming couldn't be exciting. I don't know what they were talking about.
Well done, Cara Gordon and Stella McCarty. What a finish that was. 2/100ths of a second. They were on for the next heat.
Yeah, can we top that one in this next heat? We've got a few more swimmers. It looks like we've got a full lineup for this race coming up.
No, I think there's a technical issue. I just heard someone say there's a problem with the lane rope there.
Yeah, it looks like the lane rope between 5 and 6 has actually come undone, so you don't see that too often. At least that happened at the end of the race and not during it. I don't know what would happen if that occurred. That's what we were talking about earlier. You've got to be flexible in your preparations and aware that these things might happen and you might get a delay before your race, but as long as you're prepared for that, I'm sure you can deal with it and overcome it and still produce a great result in the race you're about to swim.
And I've got the technical experts trying to get these lane ropes fixed quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone plays a part in running these competitions and making them run smoothly. And looks like we're almost fixed and about to get underway for the second heat of the 800 free.
Yeah, you don't want these lane ropes drifting across your leg. They're not very forgiving if you run into them. These anti-wave lane ropes.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what would happen if a lane rope fell out during a race. I've never seen that happen before. I hope it would never happen. But
I do remember once, and it was the backstroke flags there, as you can see. There was in fact, it wasn't the backstroke flags. It was the false start rope. That someone was. It was a relay swim. Someone was cheering on their team. Brushed against it accidentally. The false start rope went in the water. Some teams were already past it. It was the last length. Some teams swam into it.
Sounds like chaos.
But they offered everyone a re-swim. So the people that obviously were in the medals decided not to swim. People that weren't in the medals all swam, but they didn't change the result.
Yeah, I mean, I think we try and control everything, but you can't predict some of these things. I remember at Snags, the lights went out one year and they offered a re-swim of that race, so you got to expect the unexpected in swimming.
So we are underway for the second and final heat this afternoon. Of course, one more heat to come, but that'll be swum this evening in this 800 freestyle for women. The lineup for this one: Leah Hughes from City of Glasgow goes in lane 1. Georgina Hawkins from Millfield back in again. She goes in lane 2. Jory Horn from City of Glasgow goes in lane 3. Ella Thatcher-Plant from Edinburgh University goes in lane 4. Natasha Simpson from Moran-de-Bath in 5. Holly Simpson in 6 and Kerry Gillespie in 7. They're both from Aberdeen Performance. And Anna Williamson from City of Glasgow in lane number 8 to the right hand side of your picture there, right at the bottom of the shot as she comes in with that blue cap of City of Glasgow.
Yeah, we've gotten a bit of an Edinburgh battle in the middle with an Edinburgh University swimmer and a Warrender swimmer respectively, so they're starting to break away a little bit after that first 100, but we'll see how the race develops.
Yeah, Natasha Simpson maybe just taking it out. Entry times here towards the low end of the 9 minutes. Both Ella Thatcher-Plant and Natasha Simpson 9:11 entry times, and just outside making it to that the fast heat that will swim tonight. I wonder if they can improve that slightly, edge ever closer to that 9 minute mark. Might be a little bit of a tough ask to challenge that 9 minute mark, but I'm sure they'll have the 9:11 in their sights.
Yeah, definitely. I think each swimmer coming in here is probably trying to beat their personal best. So both those girls in the middle there, 9:11 entry times. So I'm sure they'll be looking to push under that, and you never know, they might get under that 9 minutes. I'm sure that would be a fantastic barrier, and it might well be one of their goals that they've set this season or the following season. I think coming off the pandemic, the distance events will probably hit the hardest in terms of training and access to training. There's no doubt that to be able to swim a distance event, 800, 1500 and open waters, you're saying you do need a bit more of an aerobic background behind you throughout the season. So I think these girls are probably just starting to rebound off the back of that pandemic, and really probably got quite a nice training block in recently, so maybe they'll start to see the fruits of that training here at the Scottish Winter Short Course meet.
Natasha Simpson just around about a couple of seconds lead now. It's a good lead in the early stages there. Ella Thatcher-Plant from Edinburgh University. She won the Scott, or is she a new one from this year?
Yeah, she joined. I think she'll be in her second year of university this year. So yeah, she was at Edinburgh University while I was there. But obviously it was a bit of a challenging year with the pandemic, and I sort of look at university students that came in that 2020 year, and you look at the experience that they had, and to be honest, this year is probably their first year at university, and they didn't experience that on-campus learning. It was all virtual, and it was difficult to meet people. So I do take my hat off to those swimmers and students that started university during the height of the pandemic, because it certainly was challenging, and I'm sure there's been more challenges for them this season experiencing that university life. And you look at the second year students this year, and they're really first years experiencing that university life at their respective universities.
Still a good race going on for third.
And is the programme at Edinburgh University, is it like fully integrated with the academic side?
Yeah. Some courses more than others. Certainly, there's definitely some flexibility there, but Edinburgh is quite academic university, so not too much flexibility around courses. I think it's about balancing your academics and your swimming, and often academics comes first, and I think that's right. I think to get a quality degree is important, but to be able to balance it with your swimming, it's a challenge. And I think time management for university swimmers is a life skill that you develop as you progress through your swimming career, but you can take that on to life beyond swimming. So some of these skills are just fantastic that you learn through trying to balance academics and swimming, and you get that at the school level as well. So I think that shouldn't be sniffed at.
And it's great we've got the opportunity in Scotland to do that. I mean, Edinburgh as well, Stirling as well. I mean, previously, Loughborough maybe down south, and Bath were always, good opportunities to do, to mix your swimming with your academic career. But I mean, previously, I remember when I was swimming years back, you had to go to the States to do something like that. Really, there was no opportunity, hardly any opportunity in the UK. Yeah,
definitely. You've got Aberdeen, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Stirling. So four main unis. There's a few other unis around with Heriot Watt. You've got in Edinburgh. You've got Robert Gordon's in Aberdeen, Strathclyde in Glasgow. So a lot of universities, a lot of opportunities for swimmers to move on from their school academics into university institutions, and really balance their swimming and maximise both at the same time.
Well, it's one of those university students in lane number 4 being headed now by the Warrender swimmer in lane number 5. Natasha Simpson has gone out 6:11.
Yeah, really starting to pull away here in this, just coming up to the last 225. So starting to pull away here. Ella Thatcher-Plant, she's probably got her in her sights, trying to use that as a bit of motivation to really push on here. But yeah, as you said, the 800 does become quite spread out across the 8 lanes.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the clock here. They come down to the 600 mark. So it's around about a 108 there for that. So a couple of 108s, and well, yeah, you're going to be right on the 9 minute. I think if she can pick it up, as we've seen many swimmers do, in fact all the swimmers probably when they hear that bell or in the last 100 find something extra. So if she can do that, this is going to be a 9 minute swim.
Yeah, definitely. That would be great to see. Probably see her start to bring in the legs a little bit more on this last 200, and definitely when she hears the bell, I'm sure you'll see the stroke rate pick up a little bit. Again, the 800 in women's swimming in Scotland, it's certainly not our strongest event, and I'm sure people would agree with that, but it's certainly an opportunity for swimmers to progress throughout their swimming and really take on the challenge of distance swimming, really enjoy that challenge. We had Camilla Hattersley make the Rio 2016 Olympics in the 800 free, so we've had a little bit of history there, but not too much consistency, so I'm sure that's one that Alan will be looking to see a bit of progression in as we go forward.
Scottish record held by Hannah Miley, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Hannah, 8:15.6. So she's held that since 2012. Actually, in France, she's on the 800 free. So she was probably the most multidisciplinary athlete we've ever had in Scotland. So recently retired from racing. It's great to have Hannah around in Aberdeen. Actually, I've learnt a lot from Hannah myself. as a swimmer, but also progressing into my own coaching. So yeah, she's a great asset to Scottish swimming.
Yeah, she certainly is. She was entered for this event, but she hasn't chosen to swim, obviously announcing that retirement just last week. And, well, who could blame her? What a great career that Hannah Miley has had. Here comes Tasha Simpson, though. Is she going to just challenge that 9-minute mark? Well, it's going to be very close indeed. Maybe just going to slip by, I think, for Natasha Simpson, but it's going to be a great swim here as she comes into the finish. Is she going to do it? Oh, no! 9-minute.01. Oh.
Doesn't get much closer than that. We've had 2 exciting 800 races. It's great to see these girls get in and challenge themselves on the 800.
Well, I think you find 200 metres ago I said this is going to be a 9-minute swim. There you go.
Yeah. You've got experience in this gig, I have no doubt about that, and I'm very impressed. Great to see it live in person come into fruition. 9:01. They're fantastic though. PB by 11 seconds. So I'm sure she'll be delighted as much as she'll be a little bit frustrated being so agonisingly close to that 9-minute barrier.
Yeah, what a great swim that was from Natasha Simpson. 9:01. She takes that one clearly ahead of Ella Thatcher-Plant with 9:21.34, and 4 seconds further back, Jory Horn from the city of Glasgow. Well, a few good 800s there. I do like an 800.
Yeah, I don't mind an 800. I think there's definitely opportunity in 800, but it's a distance event. But you know, there's 200 swimmers that can swim up to an 800, and certainly the open water swimmers in down can swim the 800 as well. So you've got the balance of tactics in that 800, which I think creates excitement in itself. Obviously, we've got those fast heats tonight, the 2 fastest heats, so we're looking forward to them this evening, both the men's and the women's 800 freestyle finals.
Yeah, absolutely, should be good. As you said, we've got the University of Stirling, Stephen Milne and Jack Munsey in the 2 centre lanes here. Michaela Glenister as well is in the centre lane for University of Stirling in the women's final as well. We've got some additional heats coming up now, not heats that will enable any of the swimmers to qualify for any of the finals tonight, but these are additional youth heats, so only youth swimmers given an opportunity for those that didn't qualify for the events to swim in additional races. So start off with the 400 metres individual medley, and that's going to be in about 5 minutes time. Did you ever venture over the 400 IM, or was it just freestyle for you?
400 IM, yeah, well I trained in Australia for a number of years, as you said, and the whole programme was based around the 400 IM. As a developing swimmer, I think that's important. We based all our training around the 400 IM and developed all 4 strokes, multi-discipline, multi-event distance. So 400 IM, in fact, was my main event until I was about 17 years old. So yeah, certainly a challenging event, one you've got to do some good training for. But I think the challenge is exciting. You've got 4 different strokes, the opportunities you've got, the amount of different turns you've got in the race is exciting.
Yeah, and things can change about a lot on a 400 IM. Makes it exciting for us here in the commentary box.
Yeah, definitely. I think you look at swimmers across the world, you're looking at Duncan's progression at the moment. He was always a 400 IM swimmer, and I think there's lessons to be learned from that in the development of our youth swimmers and even into the senior ranks. You don't want to specialise too early, and you want to keep your options open, and I think the 400 IM really allows that.
I do remember a couple of years ago looking at the 400 IM and the British champs when it was here, and it was won by Tom Dean. He hasn't done too badly. Yeah,
exactly. That's another example of 400 IM. I think you've got Caleb Dressel out there, one of the best swimmers in the world, and I don't know, but I would say his training's relatively IM based, and you see him putting in a 400 IM to his program every so often. So I think even as you progress into the best swimmers in the world, they're still looking at that 400 IM as an opportunity to develop all their strokes.
I've kicked off slightly quicker than we thought they were going to do. But we do have Finlay Maguire from Heart of Midlothian in 1, Thomas Traynor from East Kilbride in 2, Ewan Weir from Dundee City Aquatic in 3, Kyle Wong, Gregor Ross and Oliver Cartwright, all City of Glasgow in those centre lanes 4, 5 and 6. Ewan Jones from West Lothian in 7, and another City of Glasgow swimmer right down at the bottom here, and pretty well placed after 50 flies, Tom Ingalls, City of Glasgow.
Yeah, pretty evenly matched across the board here in this first 50 of fly. You'll see different strengths come across the board here in the fly back and the breast and the free. You might have some strong breaststrokers that will come through later in the race, so it's definitely an exciting watch here.
City of Glasgow look like they are in pole position at the moment in that centre. Looks like Gregor Ross maybe. As they come up to the end of the butterfly, not much in it at all. As we said, things could change about quite significantly as we go through the strokes. Every swimmer will have their preferred stroke. Breaststroke especially, you spend most time on the breaststroke, so you can see things change about when we get onto that breaststroke leg.
Yeah, definitely. Having been working up in Aberdeen, I've obviously been able to pick the brain of Patrick Miley, absolute guru and wealth of knowledge and experience in the 400 IM, having coached Hannah all the way through her career. So I've been picking his brain a little bit. He's been spilling some of the 400 IM secrets, and one of them I'm sure a lot of us know, but some of the swimmers here will be looking to negative split their hundreds, so bringing that second 50 faster than the first 50. Particularly challenging on the breaststroke because you've got the back to breast turn, bit of a slower transition, so we'll see if these swimmers here are able to negative split these 100 strokes.
Well, it's a good lead at the moment for Gregor Ross, but right beside him, Kyle Wong, just one lane up. Those two yellow lanes in the middle, that's 4 and 5. 5 closest to us. As they come into the halfway point, still going to be Gregor Ross, who is just ahead, 2:24.24. And just a couple of seconds ahead of Kyle Wong. Ewan Weir just one line up. We go on to the breaststroke now. And it looks good in the early stages of this breaststroke, Gregor Ross.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like breaststroke might actually be a strength of his, so that's fantastic to see. Strong across all 4 stroke disciplines. So the breaststroke sometimes the one that separates the field a little bit more. I was never a breaststroker. Well, I was actually when I was younger, to be honest, but I always struggled with breaststroke, and I always think it's almost a different sport in itself, breaststroke swimming. So interesting to see how this 100 develops here.
Yeah, he certainly stretched that lead. Also going well right up there in lane 2. Thomas Traynor has brought himself into second place, so it looks like he is a fan of the breaststroke here as he's pulled his way through the rest of the field. He was quite well down, Thomas Traynor. Pulled himself up to second position. Kyle Wong just behind him, and also down there in line 7, I think it is, Ewan Jones going well on the breaststroke, but Gregor Ross has really dominated this one.
Yeah, we've got a nice battle going on for second place here, and these boys entering on around 5 minutes, so I'm sure they'll be looking at that 5 minute as a barrier that they might be breaking today, and it's a significant barrier as well. You start dipping under the 5 minutes. I'm sure they'd be delighted with that if they're able to achieve that this afternoon. 3:47, so he's got about 1:12 on this 100 free, which looks like he's capable of here.
Yeah, and that lead increased, of course, as Gregor Ross first of the turn on the freestyle, and that's always going to be faster than the breaststrokers coming into the wall. So that lead's always going to extend if you're into that breast to freestyle turn. It's coming up to the last 50 now. We'll just keep an eye on this one. It's going to be around about 4:20ish. Yeah, 4:22.77. It's got a good chance here. It's going to be inside.
Absolutely. See how fast he can bring it home in this last 50. See how well he's paced his strokes across the 400 IM.
Coming up to the final turn, Gregor Ross swum this really well. The others trying to come back slightly, just closing that gap as you might expect that they would do. Ewan Jones in second position now. It looks like Kyle Wong in third place, but into the finish now is going to be Gregor Ross in lane number 5, well under the 5 minute mark. Well done, Gregor Ross. 4:57.71. Big smile on their face. That's what we like to see.
Absolutely, yeah. Some of these guys smashing their personal best here, so I think we'll see nothing but smiles across the board. Ewan Jones coming in there 5 minutes 0.7, and Kyle Wong rounding out the top three in a 5:02.4.
Yeah, pretty close to his entry time, Kyle Wong. And inside the entry time for Ewan Jones by some 8 seconds or so. Ewan Jones, that's a good swim from him. But Gregor Ross takes it 4:57.71. A good 4.5 second improvement for Gregor Ross to take that one under the 5 minute mark.
Yeah, breaking those barriers. I'm sure that was a great motivation for him to get under that 5 minutes, and we look to him to push on that in the future.
So we've got 2 girls 400 metres individual medley. So we have 10 swimmers. So we've got 3 swimmers in this first heat and 7 swimmers in the second heat. And this one you'll see in lane 3 with that blue cap, City of Glasgow, Cassie Wiper. And inside the 2 Glasgow swimmers in the middle, Lisa Goodbrand from Ithan, with Caris Mooney, the second City of Glasgow swimmer, going in lane number 5, closest to us. So City of Glasgow, 2 14-year-olds.
Yeah, I'm sure they're training partners. I'm sure they get competitive on a daily basis in training. So good to see them test their skills in the competitive arena here.
Alyssa Goodbrand from Ithan, 15-year-old, so the oldest in this field. Looks like Caris Mooney is the first of the City of Glasgow swimmers to have an advantage. Goodbrand coming up to final turn on the butterfly with a decent lead. She has only a couple of second advantage in terms of the entry times. Now we've seen, well, we can't always read into the entry times, but she does look good on the fly.
Yeah, definitely coming into the final part of the fly. The transitions in the 400 IM are important. Trying to transition as quickly as possible from the different strokes to another is a challenge, but again a challenge that is exciting and shows the development of all 4 of the strokes, especially the youth swimmers. I don't think we should be specialising in strokes early at all. So keeping those options open, and the 400 IM is a great opportunity for that. Just stretching away here on the first 25 of the backstroke.
Yeah, certainly City of Glasgow swimmers not really making an impression on the lead just yet.
But we know a lot can happen in the 400 IM, the breaststroke coming up and the freestyle to finish. So we'll see how this unfolds.
Yeah, I think Cassie Wiper just pulling up alongside Caris Mooney there. Yeah, they've gone over absolutely together there. It's 5/100ths of a second. We see some good shots there from our camera people, so good job from some of them. Some real close-up shots, some good angles that we don't normally get. So it's good for us to have that on our monitor here. And we can also keep an eye on the pool, which is also a good thing, because commentating from the screens is sometimes quite difficult.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first experience of commentating, and I've got a lot of respect for commentators, because it's definitely not an easy task trying to keep up with everything that's happening in these races, especially the 50s and the 100s, which are pretty rapid fire. We've got a little bit more time to have a chat on the 400s and 800s, but yeah, equally, there's a lot of things going on. So no, I'm enjoying this experience, but definitely respect the challenge.
Don't say you've enjoyed it. You'll get asked back. Duncan will have you in his team.
I think, unfortunately for the viewers at home, I'm back tomorrow afternoon. So.
Oh well, there you go.
So there we go.
2 Glasgow swimmers just coming past the Ithan swimmer, Alicia Goodbrand. Caris Mooney is really picked up after that. In fact, no, sorry, Cassie Wiper has really picked up after that butterfly when she was lying in 3rd place. She's gone through into 1st place now out of the 3.
Yeah, Caris and Cassie really taking this breaststroke pretty strong here, overtaking Alicia in lane 4. So breaststroke might be their strength here, and they're definitely pulling through and pushing on in this race.
Yeah, Cassie Wiper looking very good indeed on the breaststroke. I wonder if she's going to have enough left on the freestyle. She's putting a lot into this breaststroke. Maybe, you said we don't know the tactics of these swimmers. Maybe that was the tactics. Just kind of go through the first half of the race, then push on from halfway. She certainly is pushing on the breaststroke.
Yeah, certainly. If breaststroke's her strength, she's really trying to maximise that here in that 100 breaststroke, and coming into that freestyle, she'll try and hold that lead that she's created on that breaststroke leg.
Yeah, it's a big lead there for 4 seconds now for Cassie, ahead of Caris Mooney, who is about a couple of seconds ahead of Lucia Goodbrand. And, well, just coming into the shot there, the two City of Glasgow swimmers, so just keep an eye on that gap. I wonder if we're going to be in for another close finish. Not sure if Caris Mooney is going to be able to close this gap as they come down with 50 to go.
Yeah, that would be quite the feat for Caris to be able to catch up with Cassie on this final 50, but it's been done before, so we'll not write that off just yet. But 4:47 Cassie's turning there, and Caris in 4:50. Looks like they may well be under their entry times here, so looking at some good swims from the City of Glasgow girls, and likewise Alyssa.
Well, the gap reduced from 4 seconds to 3. But with only 25 to go, it's a big ask now for Caris Mooney to get on terms with her teammate. Looks like the City of Glasgow bragging rights are going to go to Cassie Wiper here.
Yeah, Cassie just coming into the finish. She'd seen the shot before. Caris was bringing a leg kick a bit there, so a little bit left for the end, and Cassie comes in there in 5:24.62. Caris 5:26.98. So fantastic swims from those girls. Entered on 5:34 and 5:33.
Yeah, just the 10-second and the 6-second improvement. That's not a bad afternoon's work at all.
Yeah.
Cassie Wiper takes it. Caris Mooney
as you
second.
do.
And Alicia Goodbrand in third position there in 5:37.41. Oh, another couple of City of Glasgow swimmers in this next heat. Well, they will be two of the favourites to take this one. Lexi McCappin from first goes in lane 1. Jessica Powell from Elgin in lane 2. Victoria Niven and Libby Doubleday, the two City of Glasgow swimmers, in 3 and 4. India Marshall from East Lothian in 5. Kristen Mackay from Warren de Baths in 6. And Eva Gordon from Stirling Swim in lane number 7. So no swimmer in that outside lane number 8. So City of Glasgow back in again, and this time 15-year-old Victoria Niven and Libby Doubleday, 16-year-old, but Krista Mackay, the 13-year-old from Warrender, in this one in lane 6.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll keep an eye on Kristen there. Only 13 years old, certainly a very young swimmer in this heat. So yeah, age ranges from 13 to 16 in this 400 IM, but everyone's, I'm sure, delighted at the opportunity to race in these additional youth events this weekend.
Yeah, and India Marshall right up there in the mix there, third place. Libby Doubleday leads them through in lane number 4, and Eva Gordon going well down closest to us in lane number 7 on that first 50 butterfly. Just coming up to this turn here. Yeah, maybe still with that clear lead, maybe just about a body length ahead of the rest of the field. Not much in it between the others, but looks like Libby Doubleday is going to take them through as they go into the backstroke.
Yeah, when I was speaking to Patrick about the 400 IM, he was talking about the first 100 fly being quite comparable to the first 100 of the 200 fly. Likewise, the 100 backstroke, breast and freestyles being comparable to the second 100 of those stroke 200s. So I think from his experience, he suggests that 400 IM should actually be swum at 200 pace. So it's an interesting thought, and maybe some of these swimmers have thought about that as well.
Well, Libby Doubleday certainly taking that win. It's a nice spearhead for us here as we come into the first turn. Second turn, it should be in the backstroke, halfway point in the backstroke. And she's got a 3-second advantage over India Marshall. And Kirsten Mackay still going well, the youngster, in lane number 6. But it's a nice shot of the head position there of Libby Doubleday. She's gone out that pool.
Yeah, strong backstroke it here, lovely head position, nice relaxed stroke, keeping that kick nice and constant. So look, she's pushing on this backstroke, but as we said in the earlier heats, the breaststroke's it's an important leg, so we might start to see a bit of movement as they turn onto the breaststroke. Back to breast turn's an interesting one. There's a few different variations. You'll see the flip turn there in lane 5, crossover turn there in lane 3, and other people just opting to touch and turn. So depending on experience, practice, and testing their skills in the competitive arena, lots of different ways to do the same turn.
Yeah, lots of different ways. You've just got to adapt what's best for you, I suppose. What works for you.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you're looking at the sort of gold standard turn. You're looking at the crossover turn, but the developments of that are sometimes through just practicing the touch turn, then practicing the flip turn, and then progressing onto that crossover turn. So yeah, 400 IM never fails to entertain, does it?
Well, it's all closing up slightly here, and 3.5 seconds now the gap. It was slightly more than that. But it looks like Libby Doubleday is still just losing the lead very, very slightly here. It's closing up there for India Marshall, and I wonder where they are going to be as they get onto the freestyle. Doubleday still looking good, still in pole position, still with a good advantage, but India Marshall certainly closing here.
Yeah, definitely. We're coming up to this breaststroke leg, and India, yeah, she's starting to make some ground up on the City of Glasgow somewhere, Libby in lane 4. So we may well be on for another exciting finish here, and hopefully that's the case.
I suppose it just depends how much is India Marshall taken out of herself on that breaststroke leg to try and get back on level terms, and then back on to the freestyle now as Libby Doubleday still with the advantage. But it does look like a strong freestyle from India Marshall. She's not giving this one away at all.
Yeah, and the young swimmer Kristen from Warnder in lane 6 is coming on strong there in 3rd, so that's great to see from the 13-year-old.
Oh, I think India Marshall has got the momentum here, and she looks like she's going to go up alongside Libby Doubleday. It really has. Going to be a great freestyle swim here from India Marshall, and what has Doubleday got left here as they go into with 50 metres to go? India Marshall takes the lead by about 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, well, what a race we've got in our hands here. 400 IM, there's overtakes every different stroke, so India's really pushing through on this final 200, and it looks like she may well have paced this to perfection.
Yeah, Libby Doubleday, I just thought she was just not going to let India Marshall go away there as they came down that length. India Marshall with just the lead over Libby Doubleday, as she finally broken Libby Doubleday just at the very closing stages here. She went past her about 50 metres ago, didn't shake her off, but she's done it now and into the wall. 5:22.41. The gap was just over a second at the end. India Marshall, as you said, Scott, paced it absolutely perfectly with Doubleday in 2nd position. Victoria Niven coming through for 3rd, just pipping the youngster Kristen Mackay.
Yeah, great swims there across the board, and another exciting race with lots of changes across each of the stroke disciplines. So different tactics, different pacing strategies depending on the strengths of their strokes, and certainly India came through strong there in the last 200 metres. Yeah,
very good swim there. Dropping down the distance slightly to the 200 backstroke now. We have 2 heats of the boys 200 backstroke, 2 heats of the girls 200 backstroke to finish the session off. And we have 3 swimmers. Ewan Weir from Dundee City Aquatic with that pink cap. It's another 13-year-old. His way into this one. Andrew Smitten from South Aberdeenshire in 4, and Adam Scott from Wren 96. He goes in lane number 5.
Yeah, 13, 14, 15 years old in this 200 backstroke. So great opportunity for these youth swimmers to get those additional events in and test their competition and their racing strategies in the arena.
And, good underwater work there, closest to us.
Yeah, lane 5, Adam Scott really utilising that 15 metres underwater, and he's really separated himself from the other two swimmers early on, and I think he's using them again here on this turn. That's fantastic to see, right past that 10 metres, almost utilising that full 15 metres off the turn. So skills pay the bills sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Adam Scott. Let's see what he does off this turn here. Again, great underwater work again. It's keeping him ahead of the other two, Andrew Smith and Ewan Weir. Side by side here, Andrew Smith just with the edge. But those great underwater skills from Adam Scott.
Yeah, 7 kicks off that turn, so it's a pretty effective strategy there on his underwater works. And in Aberdeen, we're looking at sort of 7 to 9 fly kicks off the turns in training on backstroke, just to get that training, experience, and try and transfer that into the racing.
105.65 at the halfway mark for the leader. That's Adam Smith from Ren 96. Watching it between the other two as they come into this turn. But no doubt about the leader, Adam Scott, still using that underwater. Let's see him now at the 150 mark, how far he goes in his underwater.
Yeah, 7 kicks again off that last turn, so it's pretty consistent across the board. We'll see again. Yeah, about 6 or 7 there again on that turn. So he is really using those underwaters, and I think in short course swimming, if you can use those underwaters, you're gonna have success, just like Adam's having it in this heat here.
Well, he certainly is, and he's still continuing there, coming up about 7 or 8 metres, and it's it's great skills, great discipline from Adam. Just 14 years of age, and that's going to see him in good stead in the future, I think. Coming to the finish, 2:16.70, big improvement for Adam. Well done.
Yeah, massive personal best, and absolute credit to his skills there. I'm sure he'd be delighted with that. Ewan Weir coming in there 2:22 dead, and Andrew Smitten rounding out the field there in 2:26.1.
So very good swim there from Adam Scott. Ewan Weir also improving his entry time, 2:22 for him. That's a 4-second improvement for the Dundee City aquatic swimmer. Final boys event this afternoon is the 200 backstroke second heat. And there are the starters for that one. Logan Jackson from Aberdeen Performance, Sean Sy-Griffiths from Warrender, Fraser Claxton from Heart of Midlothian, Kyle Wong from City of Glasgow next to his teammate Tom Ingalls, Ethan Stewart from Hamilton in 6, Kyle Muirhead in 7 from West Lothian, and Finlay Maguire from Heart of Midlothian in lane number 8. Again, 2 14-year-olds in this one. Logan Jackson right at the top, and Kyle Muirhead 1 from the bottom in lane number 7.
Yeah, we'll see if this heat as well, see their underwater work, see if they can challenge those skills that we've just seen from Adam in the last heat.
Could be maybe Ethan Stewart leading them through in lane number 6, and maybe Sean Sy-Griffiths as well, right up there in the mix. So Ethan Stewart there, 30.75, and it is sometimes a tightrope, isn't it, Scott? You can't go too far underwater.
Absolutely, yeah. You've got up to 15 metres to utilise, but it's pretty challenging to be able to use 15 metres of every wall. If you're thinking about using 15 metres of every wall, you're only swimming for 20 metres and you're underwater for 30 metres. So you've got to have pretty strong capacity for hypoxic work with your lung capacity, and I'm sure it's not something that you can just bring into the competitive arena. It's something that has to be practiced day in and day out in training, and it's that consistency that develops those competitive skills that we saw from Adam in the last heat.
Ethan Stewart still looking like he's leading this field through, and followed by Kyle Muirhead, who's picked up and right up the right across the pool there. Sean Sy-Griffiths in lane number 2 as well, going well. Just coming into the red zone now. going to be very close between Muirhead and Sly Griffiths. Yeah, 0.3 of a second separate them. Ethan Stewart ahead by around about a second.
Yeah, into under 2:18.9 there, Ethan Stewart. So we'll see if he can challenge that in this last 25. It looks pretty good coming into the last turn.
He's certainly pulling away from the others. It's going to be a good tussle for the next one to finish. Sean Griffiths maybe just getting the edge, I think.
It's going to be a big personal best here. 4 seconds there from Ethan Stewart. That's a fantastic swim. And then lane 7 getting the touch there, 2:17.46.
Sean Griffiths in third position there as they finish, 2:18.39. And the screen has gone blank.
We may well have a technical infraction in that heat. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it can happen. In backstroke, certainly more than freestyle. There's a little bit more that can go wrong.
Yeah, certainly. You've got the underwater sections, which are utilised a lot more than the other strokes. Sometimes, particularly in the junior swimming arena. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Well, scoreboard here in the venue has gone blank. We'll just wait for confirmation of that. I think we are going to get a disqualification by the sound of things. Never a good time when there's a disqualification, but you know, you've got to abide by the rules, haven't you?
No, yeah, I think what we talked about earlier is that racing is an opportunity to learn, and sometimes things don't quite go to plan, and you can't just look at the negatives in these situations. You've got to look at some of the positives that you've learned, and you can deal with that and be better prepared for the next time that you race.
Yeah, there is a disqualification, and it was the man that touched the wall first. Unfortunately, Ethan Stewart is disqualified in that one, and that means Sean Griffiths takes the win ahead of Kyle Muirhead. That's times just sorting themselves out. I did think that Sean Griffiths had touched first, although Kyle Muirhead given a faster time originally, but that's been corrected now. And Sean Griffiths takes that heat because of the disqualification for Ethan Stewart. Now the girls, the last 2 events this afternoon. And there you see the starters for this first of the 2 heats. Leonie Bedborough from Incas goes in lane 1. Jessica Powell from Elgin goes in 2. Layla Weatherspoon from Heart of Midlothian next to her teammate Orla McInnes. Katie Campbell from Aberdeen Dolphins in 5. Victoria Niven from City of Glasgow in 6. And Caris Mooney from City of Glasgow in lane number 7. Another 12-year-old in this one, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see those young swimmers in here in the turn of backstroke. Leonie out there in lane 1. So we'll keep an eye and see how she gets on here. You've got a couple of pairs of teammates here as well, and Hearts of Midlothian swimmers in Layla and Orla in 3 and 4, and the City of Glasgow pair, Victoria and Caris in 6 and 7. So always good to get a bit of competitive rivalry with your teammates, and I'm sure we'll see that on this turn of backstroke.
Yeah, it does look like it's the 2 Hearts swimmers ahead now. Orla McGuinness and Layla Weatherspoon, lane 4 and 3. That's the order that they went through that first 50.
Yeah, Caris Mooney in this lane, in lane 7 of this heat's from the 400 IM earlier on, so not that long ago, in fact, probably only about 10 minutes ago. So that's quite a feat to be backing off a 400 IM with a turner backstroke, probably 2 of the toughest events in short course swimming. So that's great to see these youth swimmers taking advantage of both events this afternoon.
Yeah, we had a few of that this morning actually. Katie Goodburn, I think, swam 2 races, 100 freestyle and the breaststroke, just one after the other, it seemed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what everyone trains for, isn't it? You've got to be able to back up your races, and some people will be better than others, but I think if you're talking about 400 IM and a turner backstroke, you got to be putting in some pretty solid work and training to be able to back those ones up, and it looks like Caris is doing a good job of that so far.
Yeah, she is. She's very handily placed, 3rd place at the moment, maybe just dropping into 4th as they go through on this term. Orla McInnes is leading them through, and it's an impressive performance here from Orla McInnes, just stretching away from the others here, and it's a big lead she's got over her teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming down here in this last 50, really pulling away, as you said, and yeah, looking like a great race. Entered on a 2:31.9, so I think we'll be looking at a pretty good drop here if she can get down this last 25 in a similar fashion.
Yeah, going over that turn in around about 2:10. Oh, looks pretty choppy with that shot there. Not quite as choppy in the pool though. Orla McInnes, there she is, 2:26.35. Well done, Orla. Another 5-second improvement for her. 2:31 for Layla Witherspoon. Another 4-second improvement for Layla. So the two Hart swimmers will be delighted with that. And it was Karis Mooney, 2:34.92. That 400 IM, good warm up for her. 5-second improvement.
Yeah, I was about to say, you might not want to tell the coaches that, Karis, but they might be getting you to do a 400 IM more often before you swim your 200 backstroke. So that was a fantastic effort. Great to see that back-to-back racing.
Yeah, two Hart swimmers, followed home by Karis Mooney of City of Glasgow. 3 great performances there to take the top 3 spots. And now we have the 200 backstroke second heat, and got another person who's doubling up. Libby Doubleday going in lane number 1. Again, we just saw her just getting pepped by India Marshall, which just seems to be like 2 minutes ago almost.
Yeah, definitely a quick turnaround for these swimmers, but I'm sure they'll take on the challenge. They're prepared for it. So yeah, let's see how this one unfolds.
So 3 City of Glasgow swimmers in this one, starting with Libby Doubleday right up there at the top. And Holly Milne from first in lane 2, Sophia Machin from Western Berkshire in 3. 2 Hart swimmers in the middle, Lucy Atherton and Isla Grant. Erin Hammond from South Ayrshire in 6. Melissa Minnie from City of Glasgow and her teammate Talia Blackley. They complete the lineup in 7 and 8. Just wonder where this one is going to go in the early stages. Maybe lane number 5 with the lead. Isla Grant 33.22. Talia Blackley going well from City of Glasgow, right down closest to us as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've got another couple of pairs of teammates here, City of Glasgow again and Hearts of Midlothian, so I'm sure they'll be looking at each other and trying to get one up on their teammates. So yeah, great start here from Isla Grant in this first 100.
Yeah, Isla Grant just got the advantage now. Talia Blackley going well there, down in lane number 8. She's not going to challenge for the lead of Isla Grant though. She might challenge for second, just ahead of Safina Machin. 12.28 and 1:12.47 for the second and third swimmers, but a big lead at the front of the field. It's a good contest for second here, but Isla Grant going really well at the head of the field.
Yeah, Isla Grant using those underwater sections to her advantage there, and you can see her stroke rate is quite a bit higher than some of the other swimmers, so she's really developed that in her training and brought that here to the competition, and looks like she's swimming pretty strong here coming up to the 150 mark.
She goes over 1:47.77, lead of around about 3 seconds almost, and Sabrina Machin going into second position ahead of Erin Hammond, who's come through now into third place as Blackley just drops back slightly into fourth position. But Isla Grant very much the favourite for this one, although it is a good second half of this one from Sabrina Machin there up there in lane number 3.
Yeah, I mean the 200 backstroke is a bit of a killer on the legs, so you see some of these swimmers bringing the legs in on this last 50, so they've clearly paced it well, and Isla Grant's coming into the finish here. We'll see what time she rounds up with.
She's inside her entry time, 2:26.54, so a nice way to finish the session this afternoon. Entry time there of 2:28.93. So it's another good way to finish. Well, let's see if we can get the confirmation of that result, as the scoreboard has gone blank again.
The moment of truth, isn't it? It's a bit of a tense wait for the swimmers is when the scoreboard goes blank, so we'll see, hopefully no technical infractions in that heat.
Well, that is the final swimming action. We'll just wait for that result. But can I say, Scott, thanks very much for your company this afternoon. It's been great. I hope you've enjoyed it. No,
yeah, thanks, absolutely. Yeah, fantastic opportunity, and I hope I've not Well, I hope I've been interesting enough on
No, you've been
the
great.
live stream back home. So I've said back here tomorrow afternoon. So very much looking forward to that. It's great to see these swimmers get back into racing.
You've been absolutely great this afternoon, Scott. It's been a pleasure to be with you in the commentary position as we get that final result. Isla Grant confirmed in first position, Safrina Machin in second, and Erin Hammond in third position. Well, thank you very much for joining Scott and I on the live stream this afternoon. That's session 2 of the Scottish Winter Short Course meet is finished. We move on to session 3 tonight. It's the final session. It will be exciting. Please join us. Don't miss it. Coverage starts at 5:25. First final is off at 5:30. Thanks for your company this afternoon, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.
In the meantime,